Oh, hi there guys. Yes, as you can see, the sexy art of knife making. I've had a busy weekend. I've got a set up here, which just allowing the linseed oil to dry on these four. Just so the handles are set. One more coat and they're all finished and done, and just the edges to polish up. And then once I've done the edges, they're ready to go out. Sheaths are done. I'll show you them. I'll put a little clip on at the end. But yeah, so I've had quite a busy week and other jobs as well. So I decided today was a odd job day, and I need a rest from bloody sanding and stuff. My hands are knackered. I did a bit of wood splitting last week, bloody hell, yesterday. Then I managed to sort out some, what I'm hoping might be some nice pieces of timber, some lancewood here, got a few pieces of lancewood, quite a nice spalting in there, so hopefully it'll stabilise quite well. And some, don't even know what that is, my mate got me that, he wants his daughter having a knife made out of it. So I've been doing that, and these have all had their, what I call like the first stage, so they've been cut roughly, really roughly into blocks. Ends were sealed. These have been kept for a few months, good few months now, until I get the moisture readings quite low. They're then going to get cleaned up, so then start to look a bit more blocky, left for a bit longer, and then they'll go into the drying cabinet. And I've just had a good clear out in there, because I've got a load of timbers in there, and a lot of these have either been stabilised already, or some of them don't need stabilising, but they're really dry. I keep everything in bags, because it's quite a damp environment really here. So, you know, it is quite a, well, I live next to a rainforest, so it's damp. So just to make sure everything, you know, keeps as dry and everything as I want it, so I'll do all that, keep it all nice and dry. Also over here you can just probably see here, I had an old linisher that had died. It was dying to death for a long time. Rather than wasting the belts, I've cut all the belts up ready, so that's where I keep all my sanding sheets ready. Load of 120, bit of 80, got them all cut up. Drill bits, sharpening, another job for today. A damaged quilt from the quilt cover from the Most Beloved, so that's going to be all cut up to give me a load of free rags. And you know, basically everything else getting sort of, pardon me bum, everything else getting sort of like cleaned and tidied and put away and where it should be. Things, you get things out, don't put one thing back, then you don't put another thing back. So yeah, so quite a, you know, all the sort of like peripheral jobs that, you know, you don't normally see very often. And it's people often say it's quite a mucky job, so even with the dust extractors and ceiling fan and stuff like that, crap gets everywhere. I don't have anything for removing the metal. My dust, I couldn't afford one, so the dust extractor I've got is really just for wood. But that in itself, the metal tends to drop pretty close, so it's not that bad. But the wood gets everywhere, absolutely everywhere. The dust extractor, I've just vacked the front of that as well to clean off the filter. It was black. So yeah, there's always plenty of jobs on the go. Whether it's, I tidied my little leatherwork area up the other day, made sure everything was clean and tidy, ready for the next set of jobs, which I've got some bit of stuff going on today. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, I don't know. By the time I finish doing this, I've got to go price a couple of jobs up, do the jobs that bring the money in. But yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, there's often a lot of work if you want to do, you know, I suppose I could buy in already dried scales and stabilise and things like that, but the reality is it's bloody expensive then. If you're doing an odd one, it's one thing, plus you never know the quality of the stabilising or the timbers, how long have they been kept, how dry were they. I'm sure some companies have very good reputations. I don't know any because I've not used them, you know, so and it's just like, I like to know that everything I've got is where I want it to be and where it's recommended that it should be to get the best out of everything. Rockwell tested the blades up there, and all four. Pretty confident then, you know, I'm getting the results that I want, so I'm really pleased with that. And yeah, so it's nothing ever stops. A little tip, I've started and I've used it for the first time with this set of knives, is when I got to the 400 grip on the papers, I swapped from, I just use like like WD-40 type oil, but not in the aerosols. I've heard a couple of friends, I don't know if it's still the same, but they stopped. They used to use the WD-40 for knife sharpening and stopped because of the aerosols in it. Not good for you, so I just went to the plain liquid, and that smells enough, but it's a lot better. But from 400 grit, I swapped to something like this, which is just a window cleaner. Simple green, what it is over here. I'm sure there's lots of different ones. They're not, I believe they're not actually water based. I've had no rust issues. I purposely squirted it on and on my sharpening bench and everything and left absolutely nothing, no discolouring, but it's a lot thinner. And when you get into the 4, 6, 800 grits, the particles in the oil are actually almost as thick as the grit on the paper. So you get a layer of oil and that paper's struggling to cut. It does cut, but it's struggling to cut. And it did work. It cut. I found that the higher grades cut quicker. So that meant obviously there was more of the grit in contact with the paper. So a bit of a tip. And it's pretty cheap. Almost odourless. Easy to do. Even my fingers came clean after I'd used it. So that was pretty good. So with that, I'm going to grab the I'll grab the knives and just have a little show of them. And then say happy... oh well, now Wednesday morning. So yeah, everybody kept telling me, you know, you're semi-retired now, it must be awesome. Yeah, so I did. I thought, right, semi-retired. I've been working. I've put a lot of hours in over the weekend and doing other jobs. So I didn't come out till 8 o'clock this morning. So much for semi-retirement. But got some other stuff I want to do today. I've got a couple of jobs to price up. Then I'm doing some practicing. I'm wanting to do some chef's knives. Really interesting. So I've been practicing doing tapered tangs. What I'm classing as a nice successful, and I'm hopefully this will show up. But I've tapered this down from 4mm in the centre down to a 2mm, and very pleased really. Hopefully that shows up, guys. Yep. So tapered tangs. Next I'm working on a bit of a distal taper today, just to give me that just weight reduction and multi-use for the knives. That's not for this kind of thing. I don't see the point on putting a distal taper on a hard use hunting knife or field knife. I just don't see the point. I mean, you've got a thin tip anyway, where the bevel grind, especially on a higher grind like this one. This is going to be this is a bit more of a practice as well on a convex grind. So as you can see now, it's currently in 2 parts. So I've used a flat, and then what I'm going to do is blend those, and then that'll be after heat treat now, but I'll blend those after heat treat and blend them into a convex grind, which is something I haven't tended to do before, but I just fancy it's just a bit of a practice, and I can do odd things while I've been doing sets and stuff. I haven't been able to do anything for the last couple of weeks, apart from obviously when things are getting heat treated. So yeah, so I'm very pleased with that. So with that, I'll knock off and then show you the knives. Alright, so just a quick show. I've just finished my first, what would probably be a proper batch. Although, as I said before, I've tried to been working in little numbers, but I've not actually done a set of the same. So I've basically, as you can see, hopefully, well, the light's not too wonderful. It's a bit of a manky day outside, really. But these are the sheaths I've been asked for. Very specific role for bush hunting. That's the whole point behind it. So, number of these, 4. Done a set of 4. I'm also playing with the tiger striping on the sheaths to give it that bit of a personal stamp. I'm not sure if that's even showing up. I hope so, a little bit. But yes, there's obviously 4 of those to go with the 4 knives, and this is the knife I've been requested. New logo, so quite pleased with that. A little bit more subtle, quite a fairly obvious shape. Anybody over here in New Zealand will have a good idea. This is a bit of a hybrid sticking and gralloching or gutting knife, so it'll do both jobs. I've been asked for 2mm steel to keep the weight down, so it's nice and light on the old belt. Those slightly old codgers are getting a bit long in the tooth. 4 of those I've done. There's 2 with the cowrie handle. Hopefully that'll sort of show up a little bit. I'm going to look at the camera, see where I'm going. Some nice cowrie come out there, stabilised, of course. Some nice grain coming out of that. I've done a matai for a bit different. Again, that's not massively interested with grain structure, but a very nice piece of wood, comes out really nice. And then a remove, and again stabilises very nice, takes on plenty of resin, so it goes from being quite a soft wood that would be no good for a knife handle to something that looks quite nice. And obviously, as with all, I'm only going to do the one, but that's the weight of the knife. That's literally all I'm using, is the weight of the knife. Another pull. But that's one of the differences. I know a lot of people talk about, it's easy, I keep saying this, but I'll say it again, if you're checking the edge of your knife, what you need to be doing is pulling, and that just shows if you've got any dinks or knocks or flat bits on your knife, you'll feel them tug. If you want to know whether your knife is sharp or not, you do a push cut, which basically means you just go straight down. Yeah, so start it off and straight down. That's whether your edge is sharp or not. So there we are. That's those. So, thank you. Onward. Hi guys. Thanks for watching that little my little blog. If that's not a vlog, that's what it is. Bit of an insight into a lot of the other things that have to be done as a doing a bit of knife making. I suppose any kind of craft work, anything that makes dust and muck. I suppose you've got to do those sort of things. But I suppose this is I'm into my 4th week since I gave up my full-time job. And so what I'm tending to find now is I'm doing 2 or 3 days a week. I'm working as a handyman. I'm going out doing odd jobs for people and things like that. So that helps to bring a bit of a steady income in. Then I've got a couple of days a week where I'm doing my knives, although I've just finished about virtually a 7-day week to finish some stuff off. Obviously, you do a little bit on knife, and sometimes things like glue or dyes or whatever have to be left to set. So it's not just a set time scale. And then it gives me a day a week to try catching up with stuff in, on, at and around the house. And that's taking some doing. So, the reality is I haven't just suddenly gone into, full time. I can't afford that. The reality is what I'm wanting to do is to turn out really, really good knives. I'm wanting to do the best that I can. I said I don't just want this, I don't want to suddenly just turn out factory produced or have a production line or whatever. I want to be proud of what I'm doing. And that, that comes into every aspect of the sort of things I'm doing, really. So that's what I'm working towards. It's the quality. And I'd say at the minute, and I've said it before in other videos, the soul of any blade is the heat treat. And I am very pleased with my heat treat. I've got a lot of really good feedback about the heat treat that I'm giving. I'm just thrilled to bits. At the end of the day, you can have the greatest looking knife in the world. If it hasn't had a good heat treat, it's a piece of junk steel that looks pretty. That's all it is. I think mine the other way. They're starting to look good, but the soul's there. So I'm happy that the knives that I go out that they're going to work. And one of the things is that if at the minute the current price bracket that I'm at means that by the time I've taken off the costs of running my shop and actually making the knife and all the bits and pieces that go into it. When I'm doing my knife making, I'm actually working for $20 an hour, especially by the time I have to take a little bit away for the taxman and things like that. So yeah, $20 an hour. I'm fractionally, I'm on minimum wage, but I'm doing it because it's something I love doing and I want to do it. And that's why I have to do the other work as well. I'm having to do the other work to make sure I bring in enough money to pay my way. So that's the reality of it sometimes. Although giving up my full-time job has given me a lot more flexibility, I've still got to do the work, so, but I'm happy with that. Even at $20 an hour, it's allowing me to keep the roof off, keep the wolf off, keep the wolf off the door, and keep on doing what I'm doing, which is hopefully be improving. And so we'll see where that goes. It's allowing me to pursue my dream, and that to me is far more important than any amount of money at the minute, any amount. There are a couple of bits in the pipeline at the minute. I'm concerned that they may get into the way of what my goals are and how I'm wanting to develop and progress and improve. It's looking at the things, the reason why I left work and the reason why I've freed up time to do what I'm doing is what's important to me and the quality of what I'm doing and where I'm wanting to get to, what I'm wanting to do, which is turn out something that my dream, my goal is to turn out a knife that's as good as it can be. Might sound sad, but that's, you know, just something I want to do. I want something I want to get good at. So we'll have to see what happens with bits that are going on. Whether they end up in the too hard basket or not, I don't know. But at the minute, I am not willing to. I'm not willing to give anything up for what my dream is and what my goal is. So anyway, we'll see where it goes. So with that, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me clean and fetch and carry and things. You know, it's out there for you guys. Anybody in the UK? Hello! Hope things are going all right, Brian. Yeah, hope you've taken a bit of a, you know, bit of inspiration and get on there doing it. You can do it. You know, so like I say, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. I know it's very valuable and it's appreciated. So thank you, and catch you on the next one, guys.